Good day, dear students. I'm Saodat Abrarovna, Agzamxodjaeva, a responsible teacher for the English grammar aspects as English language cert faculty, Department of Applied Linguistics 3 for the foundation year students. Today we're going to talk about the reported speech and its features and its grammatical peculiarities. So, what is a reported speech? It is known as well as is the indirect speech. Uh, it is a way of conveying someone's talk, someone's speech into our thoughts, into our speech. So, what is that? Instead of using the quotation marks and as well as the someone's words word by word, we use it into our thoughts, into our speech, and we report it. There is some rules and regulations how we transfer someone's speech into our speech. Let's see the difference between the direct speech and the reported speech. Direct speech, if it sounds like I'm afraid to be a different, so maybe I should be, it should sound in your speech as well as like she says she was afraid of being different, and maybe she should have been. Here, as you see, I'm not using the exact words, but I'm just putting it into my speech through the that and the told. There is some verbs to transfer someone's speech into the indirect speech. The words are said, told, asked, advised. Sometimes the characteristic of the sentence change into, and it should sound like suggested, complained, promised, warned, wanted, or so on. So we have the different statements which change according to the characteristic of information you are reporting or you are going to tell about. In the indirect speech, not always the characteristic of words or the word forms change. Of course, we transfer the grammatical features like a tense. For example, if our statements, the direct statements sounds in the present tense, it should directly change into the past tense because we report it into some time, after the some time. If it is present continuous, it is automatically goes to the past continuous. If the tense already said in the past tense, the statement directly go to the past perfect tense, one tense down, and the past continuous automatically goes to the past perfect continuous. So not only the tense change in the grammatical features in the reported speech, of course we have to pay attention to the statements and the pronouns. The person who reports should change into the third person, and the third person usually change its speech to he or she. If it is plural, they. So the tense and the person change follows with the adverb change. Time modifiers and the place modifiers plays a crucial role in the reported speech. In the time directions, the tense directions change if it is for right now you just learned something about and you put it into your thoughts and you're going to express it in your indirect speech. You put it in the not today, not this time or this week. This will change to the past tense. Today will change into the yesterday. Of course, the yesterday, the day before, or the placement for the place indications like a here or there, and the place indication over there will change the exact place name. The reported speech, of course, take it into the consideration the sequences of meaning, tense, pronoun, time modifiers, and of course, place modifiers. Reporting statements here sounds like direct speech. I went to the store, quotation marks, she said. As you see, the quotation marks, it is directly copied and put into the quotation marks and the direct speech. How it sounds in our language, in our reported speech, in direct speech, she said that she had gone to the store. Why the had gone? Had gone because it is already past tense, should change into the past perfect tense. Here's some examples, some practice, the things we have learned. You will have some time to practice. We'll start first two together, and then you will have 3-4 minutes to do the exercise and to practice the learned knowledge. For example, he works in a bank. He works in a bank is a present tense. Pay attention, it is direct speech because it's used with the quotation marks. Now I will put it into my indirect speech, my report speech. As usual, I start with the reported statement. She said, and the pronoun he worked, past tense, in a bank. She said he worked in a bank. It is reported speech. Second one, look at the second statement. We went out last night. As you see, in the direct speech start with the past tense. We have the time modifier last night. How it should sound? Would you please practice 3 minutes for the other statements to do? While you're practicing, pay attention to the time modifiers, place modifiers, person, and of course, tense. Now we can see how it sounds with the correct answer. You can check your exercise in your notebooks. As we said, she said that he worked in a bank. As you see, that I put it in a comma. In some language, we have in a Russian speaking, in Uzbek speaking audience, we have the some modifiers ki or что. It sounds like we need the that, but in English, it is not so necessary to use the that forms. That's why it is in the brackets. She said he worked in a bank, or it's correctly to say that also. She said that he worked in a bank. The second statement, she told me that they went or had gone out last night. Why we have the two tenses in here? The last night or the night before, the last night, or we can keep the past tense or the past perfect tense. Why we are having the two tenses in here? The two tenses is here. Why? Because if information obvious and evidential is in the present, you can leave it the tense past. If the information no more evidential or no more in a present, you of course transfer it to the past perfect tense. So that's why it sounds like she told me they had gone out the night before. So let's see now in the statements how the reporting question sounds. General questions is very easy. For general questions, for the yes-no question, by another words, we have the if and the whether, the transferring words. For example, are you a student? Sounds in the reported speech. She wonders if I am a student, because if I am in the present still student, it is sounds or doesn't transfer to another tense. If it's in the past, I use the past tense. She interested if I was a student. How it sounds in the questions, which is special. Special question words or WH questions had the question words itself. In the transforming the reported speech, questions transform into the usual reporting statements. We use the question word, special question word, WH word, what, who, where, why, when words into the reported speech. Let's see the example. For example, where are you going? The word is where is a special question word. Where are you going sounds in the reported speech. He asked me where I was going. The one tense down for the past continuous. Now let's see the comments, reporting comments and the requests. Reporting comments usually forms with the infinitive forms too. For example, close the door, she told me. Close the door, she told me, as a comment will be reported, she told him to close the door. Him, as you see, is the third person. She told me, or she told him to close the door. To whom you are directing, to whom you are referring the request or referring your comment. Now let's practice the comments and the question forms to transfer into the reported speech. You have another 4 minutes to do the exercise. Pay attention, the first sounds like a question. The boy asked it to the guide, to the tour guide. Where is the man? Where is the main tourist office? The question in the direct speech in the quotation mark should be transferred into the indirect speech as the just reported statement, not the question form. And pay attention, it is special question, not the general. You will transfer it with the word where. For example, the boy asked the tour guide where the main tourist office, or where was the main tourist office. The other following 9 statements, you will do in your notebooks. If you have some difficulties to transfer it, you can use the slides before or the previous slides to consult. Now the students, let's see the answers. Let's compare your answers with the correct answers with here. The boy asked the tour guide, where is the main tourist office? And it sounds like the boy asked the tour guide where the main office, tourist office, was, with any quotation mark. As you see, with no question marks as well. Now we know how to transfer the comments, questions, requests, yeah? How it sounds like if we transfer the some topic or the information. The reported speech is our usual daily usage in a speech. Sometimes we report someone's speech. Sometimes we report someone's story. And most time we watch the daily news, breaking news, and we report or we share the information with others. What if we have the certain information in a basic and how we have to transfer it? Here is some video We will just watch some informative video for 3 minutes. Then you will get some notes about and try to write the 4 or 5 reported statements about the video. It is our self-study. Now it is time to watch the video, students.
6-Minute English
from BBC Learning English.
Hello, this is 6-Minute English from BBC Learning English. I'm Neil.
And I'm Rob.
As well as bringing the world to a halt, the coronavirus epidemic has led to an increase in misinformation, lies and conspiracy theories on the internet.
In an era of fake news, where even the President of the United States is accused of spreading misinformation, could it be that we are living through a crisis in trust? What is trust? And who should we place our trust in? These are some of the questions we'll be discussing in this programme.
And we'll be hearing from a philosopher who believes the problem is not about trust itself, but about trustworthiness, the ability to be trusted as being honest and reliable.
And, as always, we'll be learning some related vocabulary along the way. Of course, telling lies and lacking trustworthiness is nothing new. Just think of the Trojan horse used to trick the ancient Greeks.
More recently, the American financier Bernie Madoff became infamous as the biggest swindler in history. In 2009, he was sentenced to 150 years in prison for his part in the Ponzi scam. But how much did he defraud from investors? That's my quiz question. Was it A, $6.5 million, B, $65 million, or C, $65 billion?
I'll say B, $65 million.
OK, Rob, we'll come back to that later. Generally speaking, trust can be described as a judgment that someone can be believed and relied upon. When we trust each other, it makes life easier, quicker and friendlier.
Society can't function without trust. So does that mean the more trust, the better?
Well, not according to philosopher Honora O'Neill. Here he is speaking to David Edmonds, presenter of the BBC World Service programme, The Big Idea.
We have another word which is gullible, and if you simply place trust indiscriminately without making a judgment about whether the other person or institution is trustworthy, then just trusting to luck, as we say, is probably not a virtue.
There's a difference between trusting someone because you have good reason to believe them and being gullible. That's easy to deceive because you trust and believe people too quickly.
If you don't judge who is trustworthy and who is not, you are trusting to luck, simply believing or hoping that things will happen for the best.
But being gullible and trusting to luck is exactly how Bernie Madoff was able to trick so many people into giving him their money. Their biggest mistake was to trust him indiscriminately, in a way that does not show care or judgment, usually with harmful results.
So, if indiscriminately trusting people is such a bad idea, how do we avoid it? How can we tell who is trustworthy and who is not? Here's the BBC World Service's Big Idea presenter David Edmonds asking Honora O'Neill to give some details.
An individual or organisation is trustworthy if they can justifiably be trusted. To be trustworthy, they need 3 ingredients. First, honesty. People have to be able to believe what they're told. Second, competence. Beyond honesty and competence, there's a third element to trustworthiness: reliability.
That's the boring one. That's just being honest and competent each time, so that it's not enough to be episodically honest and competent for some of the things you claim to be able to do, but not others.
Philosopher Honora O'Neill identifies 3 ingredients for trustworthiness: honesty, competence, and reliability.
Competence means the ability to do something well. You would trust a car mechanic to fix your broken car engine, but you wouldn't go to them for dental work. They're not competent to remove your tooth like a dentist is.
And you wouldn't trust your dentist to fix your broken down car either. Honora O'Neill also mentions reliability, being trustworthy because you behave well all the time and keep all the promises you make.
It's the combination of these 3, being honest, competent and reliable, that makes someone truly trustworthy.
And not someone like Bernie Madoff, who would run off with your money and entire life savings.
All of which brings me to my quiz question. Do you remember, Rob?
Yeah, I do. You asked how much Bernie Madoff stole from the American investors he lied to. And I said B, $65 million.
But in fact, it was C, $65 billion, a lot of money to give to such an untrustworthy man.
So we've been discussing whether there is a crisis of trust and asking how to know who is trustworthy, able to be trusted as honest, competent and reliable.
Placing your trust in someone trustworthy is very different from being gullible, easy to trick because you trust and believe people too quickly.
And it can also be unhelpful to trust things to luck, simply hope or believe that everything will work out for the best.
Both of these problems come about when people trust indiscriminately, in an unsystematic way that does not show care or judgment, usually with harmful results, as Bernie Madoff's victims found out to their cost.
But luckily, there are many trustworthy people around, and we can spot them using 3 criteria. Honesty, in other words, not lying, competence, and reliability.
Competence means an ability to do something well, in the correct and effective way.
And reliability means being honest and competent all the time, not just being honest sometimes or reliable in some actions, but not others.
That's all for 6 Minute English. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Now, as you see, we have watched the video about our modern life and the modern life issue, the crucial question, how to trust the information we are getting, or how to believe them, or to be confident about the things which we heard, we learned, or we have read. You will do the self-study at home with the video, or you can watch it one more time and use it in the reported speech. Would you please prepare the statements in a reported speech, discussing the video, the information, and paying attention to transfer the tense change, pronoun change, and the adverbal change like a place and the time. So you can use a third person as just not for repeated version like he or she. You can use the author's name like a professor honora or the reporter, or discussed issue is, or passive voice, it is said that, or it is believed, or the statistics shows. As in the video, there are a lot of statistic information too. I do hope the information you have get today and the knowledge you have learned today is very useful for you. You will do the much self-study to learn it about more. Thank you for your time and your attention.